Within the client, there is trusted network detection, can make a decision of, am I in the office, or I'm in a branch, or I'm in a data center, based on certain criteria. Those criteria are hostname and IP. Does a specific FQDN resolve to an IP address? If those two match, then the condition is true. The DNS server looks at the primary network adapter on the client and understands what DNS server is being provided to it through DHCP. If those things are equal, then the DNS server condition is true. And then DNS search domain, again, from DHCP, the client will receive a DNS search domain. If those things match the configuration of the trusted network criteria, then we can say, okay, the user is in this network. And so we combine all of these. You can say whether they've all got to be true to identify the user or the device as being on a trusted network. And that trusted network can then be a condition to make a decision on how the different forwarding mechanisms are going to be used. So with multiple trusted networks, I can define different networks, one for my data center, one for my branch, one for certain office locations, and that will enable me to make forwarding policy decisions as to how the tunnel mode is going to be implemented, or if I bypass and allow network-based forwarding to occur. Within the forwarding profile, I can select a trusted network criteria, and I select my predefined trusted networks, and I select which ones are going to apply for this forwarding profile. So within the forwarding profile, there are actions and criteria based on the conditions of the trusted network. So if I'm on trusted network, I can make a decision whether I'm going to tunnel the traffic, use tunnel with local proxy, I'm going to enforce the proxy, or I'm going to do none, based on the conditions we explained previously. The best practice is to use tunnel mode, and specifically to use the zTunnel 2.0, which captures all traffic within the client and tunnels it to Zscaler within a DTLS tunnel. So with the zTunnel 2.0 configuration, we're going to support TLS or DTLS. The default is DTLS, with the ability to make a decision to fall back to TLS as necessary. There's connection timeout option, so how the client detects that the DTLS tunnel wasn't successful. If a firewall was blocking UDP traffic, for example, we want to fall back to a TLS TCP connection, make sure that behavior works correctly. Additional options for redirecting traffic to a local listener for tunnel with local proxy configuration exists within the tunnel mode configuration, so we have fallback options within the client if the tunnel mode connection is not successful. Within the system proxy settings, you can control how the browser, or more specifically the system, receives proxy settings. So if you're migrating from an on-premise proxy, you will already have a proxy setting set within the browser or within the system. With a tunnel mode, there is no need to have these proxy settings. Additional capabilities are automatically detect settings. So the client sends a WPAD lookup looking for a proxy automatic configuration script. You can configure explicitly the automatic configuration script. This is what we refer to as a forwarding pack file. So Zscaler Client Connector sets that system pack file to download and run through that pack file configuration for traffic to be explicitly proxied to a proxy server. Use proxy server for the LAN is a hard-coded proxy and port, so IP address and a port, or an FQDN and a port, with the ability to bypass local addresses. A local address is something that is non-fully qualified. Execute GPO update means that when we move into this policy, the Windows machine will provide a GP update / force, which basically could go and pull down the GPO object, which sets the proxy settings on the machine. So it's important to understand the behavior of GPO updates, forcing Zscaler Client Connector to set a proxy setting, or forcing Zscaler Client Connector to set a WPAD script, making sure that there is no conflict. We can then make decisions on, do we use exactly the same settings for the on-trusted network, for the VPN trusted network and off-trusted network criteria. So to summarize, it's really important we understand the distinction between a forwarding pack and how the forwarding pack is implemented within Zscaler Client Connector. With a tunnel mode configuration, we do not want to set any forwarding pack file and have the client intercept the traffic natively as the browser or the client configuration resolves an internet address and intercepts the traffic as it routes towards the internet and tunnels it towards the Zero Trust Exchange through the DTLS tunnels.